Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope that you're having a great morning. I don't know what's going on yet, but what I do know is that we are. Oh, why is the live stream disabled? That is not what I would like. So we change it up front and then get on with it, which is what we'll do. I've got lots to share with you. Given on Sunday in 6 days, we'll be starting the deep dive into. Woohoo! Here we go. No, it's not made for kids. Adults can chat. The chat box should be open, my friends. But seriously, so I hope that you are enjoying this day, this beautiful day, the Monday. Did you know that more people have heart attacks Monday mornings than any other time of the week because they get stressed out? Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So I hope that you. So, what I would love is for you to leave some comments and get engaged in the conversation. And then what I wanted to do is actually read Life is a Special Event by Carol Moxham. I know this woman from my involvement with the Shambhala Temple of Light, where I was interviewing Michael Seekers and created and produced the Michael and Laura Show, 12 episodes worth before we disconnected and recently reconnected to do a challenging of ideas conversation because he didn't believe he had a belief system. He believed his belief system was superior because it was called alchemy. And so I introduced my Deity thought concept. And I think he actually got quite a bit out of it. And I have behind the screen a beautiful whole page full of ideas and diagrams that we're going to go into Sunday. And we may even touch on things earlier in the week because I really can't almost wait to get into it then. And I really want to get the structure for it together, which is for this special practice, Inner Webs Mastermind. And we're starting at June 23rd, where we're going into Leveling the Playing Field and Ode to Laura Lees, which is a course designed to break through the spell of the words themselves and show how they're used and how they use us in the process. So we're going to talk about the basic structure of language, jurisdiction, fiction, and storytelling, and the constitution of a belief system and its evolution within the deity of the house of coining ideas. And to even see how to be part of a house that coins things means that you are part of the very thing that uses the pattern to create all things. And that's where we see the arc of acceptance, awareness, alignment, respect, and kindness. Those being the arc of the covenant of us that can really help and support us in being able to be true to ourselves. So the story of evolution outlined using the major arcana characters, the 22 cards in the major arcana of the tarot, from the perspective of the sacred sojourn of the soul in greater depth, which is super exciting to me. So that's what we're going to do on Sunday, June 23rd from 7:30 till 9. And I really hope that you can join me. We've got June 30th, May 7th, 14th, 21st, and then we've even got a live graduation party at Soul's Path Retreats in Blackstock on the 26th to the 28th. We're going to be connecting with like-minded and like-hearted people for a common purpose of learning how to tell an empowered story. Yes, I'm the one, baby. Yeah, you're looking at the one. Yeah, na, 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 na. Money never lies, it says, but that's not actually true. But anyway, let's get on to what I really wanted to do, which is, I guess, start it at 8:08 after I've had a sip of my coffee and say, family, just the right a mix of chaos and love. Okay, chapter 1. Create your special event life. Your life is a special event. It is live and happening right now. It is a one-time event because there's only ever going to be one of you on this planet in this lifetime. You are living this grand celebration and experience called being human. From the very day you were born, your life was destined with a purpose to fulfill on. When you stop and think about it, your life is a series of important moments happening day after day, week after week, month after month, and year after year. Each of those moments form the incredibly special event that is your life. Those moments make series of events planned and unplanned that lead up to the main event, a life filled with purpose. This book is about making sure that you are the source of creation, organization, planning, and celebrating your life. How can you take your life to the level of grandeur that brings out your best self every day? What if you were the professional event manager of your life? What would it look like if you started to define your life as a special event? What design would you choose to excite you? You can design your own spectacular and themed lifestyle by learning and applying the skills and processes used in professional event management. We do this in special events planning. Is about bringing dreams to life using our own creativity. So why not apply these same principles to planning your life? The special events industry is about fun, excitement, happiness, creativity, and rising to the challenge. Event professionals around the world create unbelievable and incredible events that connect, inspire, and celebrate. The role of the planner is to work in the background to meet crazy deadlines, manage impossible budgets, and achieve breathtaking results. Does this sound familiar? When you reflect upon the most remarkable, outstanding, and satisfying moments in your life, the ones where you opened your heart, laughed, or struggled, you can often pinpoint when you have most fully participated in the privilege of being alive. These moments comprise life's most special events. But did you know you can also design a life for yourself that cultivates an environment where you will experience more of those moments? It starts with determining your life's purpose, and then take an in-depth look at all the elements that make up your life today. Just as with any event planning, this involves looking at things like strategizing, defining the event's purpose, design, budgeting, venue, catering, entertainment, production, invitations, and documentation. By carefully examining all these different elements, you will create a vision for your life that you want to achieve and a plan to make it all happen. Along the way, you will encounter challenges, but you can learn how to overcome them with self-management, calmness, and clarity. Event professionals are well trained at this to deal with the many unplanned moments that come with every event. Personal emotions often get in the way of making powerful choices when it comes to your own life events. The key to learning here is for you to work with facts, not the stories that get made up in what is happening. Once you have all the facts, go ahead and make an intelligent decision to keep your events moving forward and on to what's next in your plans. There is no need to wait for a big occasion to start your planning. Now is the time to actualize your most precious and desired plans, your most precious and desired dreams. Oh, fantastic. Tristan, it's great to see that you're here on this beautiful Monday morning and that it is streaming and working. And we are reading Life is a Special Event with Carol Moxham, or by Carol Moxham with Laura J. So this is me narrating this to you today. I absolutely love that she's got 12 chapters that give us the opportunity to capture life in the way that we wish to. And she actually ends the book the way that I'm going to read it to you now and say that we've just read chapter 1, and maybe every day for the next 12 days, we can read one chapter each day. And then we can apply that to The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, which is a really powerful book that I do believe we all really would benefit from taking a look at. And then we've even got John Maxwell's Put Your Dreams to the Test program that I'm certified to teach on, actually, through my certification with them from 2011 as a founding partner in the program. So I was one of the first 1,000. And the dream test is actually the 10 questions that are in Put Your Dream to the Test, which is the ownership question. Is my dream really my dream? The clarity question. Do I clearly see my dream? The reality question. Am I depending on factors within my control to achieve my dream? The passion question. Does my dream compel me to follow it? The pathway question. Do I have a strategy to reach my dream? The people question. Have I included the people I need to realize my dream? And the cost question. Am I willing to pay the price for my dream? The tenacity question. Am I moving closer to my dream? The fulfillment question. Does working toward my dream bring satisfaction? And the significance question. Does my dream benefit others as well as myself? These are the 10 questions in Put Your Dreams to the Test that I believe we would do best to actually choose to answer for ourselves with what we need to do in order to actually harmonize ourselves and also create a world that we love living, that we are proud to hand off to the next generation who are coming up now and looking to us as the role models. They need models for the roles that they're going to be playing once they're of age. So, life is a special event. The conclusion says, give yourself a round of applause. The fact that you are at the end of this book says a lot about who you are. One who jumps ahead. Don't do that. Follow the others. No, just kidding. Okay, I had to. I couldn't resist. Well, I could have, but I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you did. That would be awesome. Because so few people friggin' comment. What the hell? Come on, guys. Please engage with me. I'm engaging with you, even though you're just behind the lens. Like, I know you're there, so I'm talking to you, even though I'm just like sitting here on my own at 8:88 on Monday, June 17th. 8:88 being 8:16 a.m. So you have a purposeful life plan, focused on the life events that matter most to you. Celebrate all that you are. You are special and your life matters. Absolutely, it does. You put your heart and soul into planning your best self. Be generous as you master these skills of becoming your own event manager. This whole concept of life being a special event is new to you. So give yourself time to embrace it and be gentle with yourself through the process of adopting this idea. Literally, you're adopting an idea into a household that was perfectly content before this adopted idea came to live within it too. So it's okay, but it's going to take some time, which is why we're going straight to the end after the chapter 1 that brings us into 10 transformational, 12 transformational days of the artist's way of being an event planner for your own life you love living. And at the end of your life, you can say, hey, I absolutely put a ring on that. And I enjoyed myself thoroughly while also making a huge impact in this world through the ripple effect of my choices that created actions that transformed worlds. This is the red carpet of living an extraordinary life. This carpet is endless, limitless, and just for you and your special guests. As you walk this red carpet, here are a few things I want you to remember. Breathe. The greatest favor you can offer yourself on the red carpet is to breathe deeply, to keep yourself present. You have access to a mirror before you walk the red carpet and look in the mirror regularly. Look at how beautiful you are. Look at how much strength you have to carry on through every single day, despite everything you have to face throughout it. Be authentic and loving with yourself. Seize your moment. Bring your guests with you. If you want to go fast, go alone, John Maxwell said. But if you want to go far, go with those who can actually help you carry on when you feel weak. Because those are the ones who are going to help you make it to the finish line further, faster, just like the tortoise when the hare had to take a nap because it had exhausted himself and the turtle just persisted and kept moseying on. Have your DJ repeat to yourself these things to yourself daily. I am special. I am unique. I am worthy of my red carpet life. While it is okay to take a bit of direction from other producers you meet, who you feel are living a life worth emulating, worth replicating, only if their lives are actually reflective of the theories they speak about. Do you want to actually follow what they speak about? Because if their life is not what their words reflect, then there is a mismatch or misalignment. Do not feel you have to do whatever they tell you to do. You are here to choose for yourself. You choose what feels in your heart right, not just in your head that can rationalize with the ration of lies. Your heart will actually feel the resonance of truth, and you can make a decision from that space very confidently. Do not take your life too seriously, though. Life is really simple. So have a sense of humor and roll with the punches. Be proud, be joyous, be purposeful. Life is a special event. Celebrate you every day. Carol Moxham is the chief lifestyle and leadership coach at her own practice. She's been involved in the events industry for more than 20 years and has worked as communications and life coach for over a decade. Prior to becoming a coach, she served in a variety of roles, educating, mentoring, and teaching the next generation of leaders in the events industry, primarily in event management and entrepreneurship. Carol has 2 teenage sons and resides in Oakville, Canada. She is working on her passion project, Your Life is a Special Event, which is focused on telling the stories of global event professionals and leaders who are making a difference in their communities while living fulfilled, balanced, and purposeful lives. Carol trains and motivates hundreds of individuals to live a life as a special event. She travels often and always balances her work with plenty of time for fun. You can find out more about her and her work at carolmaxim.com/blog and on Facebook. That is my friend Carol. I am so excited to be able to have read this. I'm going to call her today and let her know that I'm reading each chapter for the next 12 days. And then we'll put together a book narration maybe for it. I don't know. I'll talk to Carol and see what she's okay with. Oh my goodness, we can stretch. Have you stretched today? Oh, it's so necessary. Oh, yes, I love it. Guys, guess what? Album 24, it's not going to be called that in the end, but it is underway. It is en route. It is happening. What is it? Well, it's where artists develop themselves by going on this journey of transformation with me and the other Peaceful Inner Warriors United that come on this journey. We're all artists of the lives that we're living. And some of us like to sing or dance or paint or color, whatever we like to do, whatever our art is, I think it's time for us to start practicing it. I think it's time for us to start developing real skills that can be used in the real world. And penmanship is actually a big piece of that. So I want to make sure that that is part of the curriculum training that I am working on creating. So you get that personalized touch element with the work that you choose to do with me when you do. So what I'm offering is actually the opportunity to learn the best that I have come to through the Leveling the Playing Field course, as well as my book, Fully Committed, that took 5 years for me to write in a month in 2022 when I got it published. I want to say that the recording that I've been editing this weekend actually has me reading the ultimate jurisdiction section from the Game of Quantum Syntax Grammar. What I want to say from this book is that the biggest takeaway is the necessity to actually stay present. That is how we actually stay in the driver's seat. He says, so you really want to watch those words and what's around them because it influences the condition of what the word is. Like a lot of people have on their driver's license, we have state of Texas, making Texas a verb because it lacks the article, i.e. the. Instead of saying of the Texas or of this Texas, if you are there, you are creating a specific. Or if you are a pluralism of citizens, you say our Texas. We have to look at these words. Otherwise, if you say of Texas, you are creating a verb, i.e. a state of being. Show the verb in the dictionary, Texas. It isn't there. It's a noun, not a verb. First time I saw this work, we were in front of Alan Simpson of the U.S. Senator out of Wyoming. David and I had a $1 bill and we showed him America. That there was a verb on the money. I watched Alan Simpson take off running. It made him nervous. On February 20th, 2003, we were at the Hotel Washington at the Senate Judicial Committee, and we had a surveillance behind me. We had a supposed Postmaster General of United States Postal Service. Well, that is me. I am the Postmaster General, says whoever is speaking here, which feels important. Russell J. Gould. I am the Postmaster General, Russell said. When I talked to supposed Postmaster General William Henderson, he retired within 72 hours. Why? Because he had knowledge. He wasn't the Postmaster General. It was just a scam. And so when the Postmaster General at the time, Potter, came in to speak, as soon as he saw me, he took off running. My surveillance team saw him. I didn't even see him. My buddy went into the elevator and Potter was yelling, "Get away from me, Gould. Get me away from Gould. I can't even be in the same building as him." Why? Because I am now space. He is past and future. He has no control over now space. He has only got control over something that doesn't exist because he doesn't exist. Unfortunately, the American people are caught up in the subject matter and are not paying close view and really breaking down the locations, the grammar, the timelines. So the sacrificing I made, they were constantly trying to get the US government, let me clarify it, US Attorney's Office, through the US Marshals, with the physicality to get me to surrender my postal number. As the years went on, I fought really hard to maintain the continuance of the evidence. So all of a sudden, I get all this identity theft where people are using my number all over the world. It is like me taking some of your numbers for your contracting numbers and putting it on my paperwork, post like a tax ID or something. J. IRS was kicked out of the US citizen. IRS was kicked out of the US in 1999. That was the year all citizens of the United States that you no longer pay the International Revenue Service with your check. You write it to the US Treasury. But everyone was so psychologically afraid of the IRS as an adverb adjective pronoun that they had to keep them in position. Then, because they couldn't reauthorize, because it was never authorized, because they would have to reauthorize the Congress. When I watch what is happening now, when did the citizens authorize Congress? Since the bankruptcy of 1999, we haven't. So everything that is coming out of their mouth is treason against we the people. That's something that I have thoughts on, we the people as a pronoun or as a noun. Just we'll get to it. Trump engaged in a pronoun, adverb, verb under a statement of candidacy. I disqualified the Federal Elections Commission. They know all that. I already wrote the Federal Elections Commission because of the law of boxing under Stiles. To run for president of the United States, you had to fill out. They were all compartmentalized boxes to break the continuance of evidence from one section to another. At least the people voted him in. That I can honor. If people want me in position to talk to Trump, give me 72 hours with the guy. The country won't be the same. The people won't be broke. Videos. He's got a 7-minute and a 21-minute video link. Wow. And then he's got in part 3, which is before the 4th part that I read yesterday, that I'm uploading shortly, problem and solution. Well, this is interesting. Why don't I just read that too? The work of identifying fraudulent grammar is a welcome addition to the decades of tireless research on the part of those intent on their personal freedom. The syntax grammar is part of a process of extricating oneself from the clutches of the world kingdom, including its court system that attempts to take us out of bounds. Examples of the administrative process. Let's take a look at suggested ways of proceeding with the process as a whole. I am new to this, so receive this as simply one example of how the process might play out. I may have other examples later on. Private administrative process, an introduction, author unknown. The current commercial process in the world today is a game, is entirely in the realm of fiction, operating as private law and private contract between legal fictions. I example countries, nations, corporations, and strawmen, individuals, sole proprietors. Today's operational jurisdiction is private law, called public policy, not public law as existed in the Republic. To make his way in the real world, a living being who cannot enter, operate in, or be in the realm of the fictitious and imaginary needs a commercial vessel. Such a vessel is the strawman. Inasmuch as law must always provide a remedy, when U.S. Inc. declared bankruptcy in 1933, it had to structure a means for living people to appear in their private, proper capacity and deal with whatever claims might arise. The result is that all claims must be resolved through private administrative process to determine whether or not the public sector, public policy, has jurisdiction in a given matter. Consequently, in order to properly bring or deal with an action in the public sector, the private administrative remedies must properly be exhausted first. The real being cannot perfect his claim and assert any standing as a creditor in the absence of perfecting the private administrative process herein pat first. Inasmuch as all courts today are admiralty equity tribunals, the universal principles of equity are operational. These principles include such maxims of equity as he who comes into a court of equity must come with clean hands. He who has committed inequity shall not have equity. Equity denotes the spirit and habit of fairness, justness, and right dealing, which would regulate the intercourse of men with men. Equity suffers no right without a remedy. Equality is equity. Equity follows the law. He who seeks equity must do equity. He who seeks equity must have clean hands. That's the second clean hands reference in 10. Interesting. Equity will not permit a party to profit by his own wrong. To receive equity, one must give equity. If in an action both parties are in dishonor, both have failed to give equity and have proceeded without clean hands. In such a case, the judge has unbridled discretion, since he is dealing with two losers from inception. The judge must then do is what his exclusive duty is in any case: uphold public policy and collect revenue for paying the insurance policy premiums to keep the bankrupt corporation afloat. The solution, therefore, is never to dishonor. I always do equity and act with clean hands, and perfect your claim in the private administrative realm at the outset of a dispute. By doing so, you have availed yourself of the remedy in law and exhausted your administrative remedies. At this point, should the matter enter a court and be put before a judge, you will be the one with a perfected claim on the private side, and also the only party with clean hands, having done equity and acted in honor and good faith. Because administrative remedies must be exhausted prior to a matter entering the judicial arena, as long as you are doing administrative procedure, the public officials cannot proceed with any court action against the strawman. The administrative process consists of having your notary send. You should always send and receive all paperwork by and through a friendly and knowledgeable notary. This says, though I question that, because why are we wanting to get our real world? Why would we want to get our real word notarized by someone who is acting within the legal fiction to verify, which nullifies our true word? Because then we're saying that, well, somebody in your fiction agreed to stamp or sign off on it, so it must be real. Well, how about we just say our word is our bond and our word is real? We don't need a notary to sign off on it, but sure, we can get witnesses who agree to say that, yes, that was what I wrote. Anyway, notice of your position, give notice. So send notice of your position to all of the parties, i.e. respondents who are assaulting your straw man with demands, obligations, and charges. Said respondents are sent your private administrative notices in the private capacity of all concerned, so that you are operating as a real being sending notices to other real beings. The nature of your paperwork is that without dishonoring, denying, traversing, fault finding, etc., you require that your adversary put up or shut up. In other words, you send your adversaries in private capacity conditional acceptances and negative averments that in essence state, I have no idea whether your claims and charges are bona fide or not, or whether I have a valid obligation to satisfy the obligations you assert, but I am not aware of any evidence substantiating your position in any of these matters. And if you claim that your demands are valid, provide documentary proof of claim for the record, and I will comply with whatever you have substantiated. It is essential to remember that the entire current judicial system functions by stipulations. Examples: agreements between disputing parties. Either stipulations occur by the two parties openly agreeing on a particular point, or if they do not, the discovery and trial process resulting in stipulations based on the ruling of the judge, i.e., the discretionary conscience of the court. The entire legal commercial process today is a game, the essential rule of which is whoever dishonors first loses. Or phrased differently, no one who dishonors can be assured of prevailing. In short, if you wish to win, you must proceed without dishonoring, or there is no guarantee you will prevail. And what is worse, if your adversary is the system itself, you are automatically guaranteed to lose, because the judge must faithfully adhere to his prime directive, uphold public policy, and collect revenue for the bankruptcy reorganization. Your private administrative process must operate as follows. Do everything by affidavit or asseveration, notarized. I question that as mentioned. Use a notary for everything. I question that as noticed. Sending out all your paperwork, receiving responses, keeping the notarial logbook, retaining copies of everything sent and received, executing such notarial documents as those involved in the notary protest, etc. Have your notary send your adversaries your notices in the private capacity of all involved parties. Never dishonor or traverse, which you can do by enjoining, commenting on, whether admitting or denying, any of the content, i.e. subject matter, in their communications, as well as by ignoring what you receive, failing to respond within the time frames required. Remember the definition of traverser from Black's Law Dictionary, in pleading, one who traverses or denies, a prisoner or party indicated, so called from his traversing the indictment. Regard the content of their documents as their true or fantasy, which in either case is not your truth or position, and therefore not your business to comment on one way or another, other than, as above, maybe what you say is true, but if so, prove it. Then you have not dishonored by ignoring, nor traversed by commenting on their statements. Remember the maxim of law. The burden of proof resides on him who asserts, not on one against whom a claim or charge is made. They initiated the matter and are demanding something from you, not the reverse. Therefore, in the private administrative process, the burden of proof concerning the validity of their assertions rests with them, not you. Invoke the principle of acquiescence by silence. Example, by the terms and conditions of the interchange. Their failure to put up or shut up within the time frame you allow for them to prove their claims constitutes their stipulation agreement that your position is true, correct, and complete in entirety, and they are devoid of proof or claim for anything they've alleged against the strawman. After you have consummated your private administrative process, proceed to the public side by invoking the notary for the notarial protest process, at the end of which you have the following established as documentary proof on the record. A private from you and public from the notary exhaustion of administrative remedies. A complete set of stipulations by them in support of your position. Private, commercial, and judicial summary judgment and judgment in estoppel on the law, facts, and money. Their stipulations established by the foregoing process include their admission and confession. Example, confession of judgment that you are the creditor and not the debtor concerning the transaction. There is no evidence that they are the creditor. They owe you, and you can bill them for the some certain amount set forth in the paperwork. They have failed to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. Any and all proceeding against you therefore constitutes a libel on the public record, authorizing your filing a libel of review in the General Admiralty against all parties in their private capacity devoid of official immunity. They and all others are hereafter forever stopped from raising the issue, contesting stipulations, or proceeding against you in any way concerning what has been finalized. After completion of the above, you can file your administrative judgment with the appropriate recorder, and thereafter record a certified copy of the filed judgment on AUCC1 or UCC hyphen unfinished. Remember that your notary constitutes a disinterested third-party witness. Oh, maybe it's UCC3. Yeah, it's UCC3. Remember that your notary constitutes a disinterested third-party witness. Disinterested, eh? But they have interest in being paid to be the notary. When the notary, an agent of the state and the court, enters the public side with your private information, your position appears on the public record. Thereafter, any form of court action against your straw man would constitute self-validating proof based on the public record that has been established that any and all involved parties are acting inequitably and with unclean hands. If you have any form of court proceeding asserted against you, show the judge that he has only one course of action based on the record. Once the private administrative process has been completed, then all manner of remedies and recourses exist for you that formerly did not and could not. These include a habeas corpus, criminal affidavits, maritime liens, and other remedies. The second example is an excerpt from David E. Robinson's book, How to Meet Your Straw Man. Please accept my apologies for the jumbled book of the next few pages. It was a dark and stormy night at sea, and my skills on the scanner are as yet incomplete, which I thought was hilarious. Well done. Postal demands. Each person generally gets a number of demands for amounts to be paid, bills. If you get a demand for payment, you will notice that it is not addressed to you, the human, but to the fictional straw man, which has a name which sounds like your name, but is not the same. The name will be printed on the demand in all capital letters, but in rare cases preceded by Mr., Mrs., Ms., or any one of those names refers to the straw man who sounds like you and which has a certain creation date which matches what you have been told was your birthday. You can pay this demand if you want to, but it is entirely optional. Remember, it is not you who is being billed. Also worth remembering is that you, the human, are bound by common law and not legal statutes, and common law does not require you to pay any form of tax. Note that common law here is capitalized, which is limited because it's been specified. Common law in its unwritten, unspecified, and unlimited capacity or version is uncapitalized because it simply says cause no harm, loss, or fraud, and keep the peace with your fellow men. And that is common law. And then everybody gets along, all is well, no problems, no issues. Common law, when it's capitalized, is a specified variant of that. So there's your variant. It's not the same, though it's implied to be. And I just want to clarify that when I refer to the common law, I'm referring to the uncapitalized, unspecified, and unlimited version of the true common law that other common laws draw from in order to create themselves and then say that they're the whole thing, but they're only aspects of all that is available to us if we are willing to take up our pen and learn to right any wrongs when we see them. So the company invoicing the straw man is hoping that you don't catch on to the fact that it is not you who is being billed, and so make the payment as a mistake on your part. If you don't want to pay this unnecessary charge on behalf of the straw man, then you can mark the envelope no contract, return to sender, and mail it back to the sender. Any subsequent letters can be treated in exactly the same way. As in all cases, do not have any telephone conversations about it, as verbal communications bristle the legalese verbal traps. At most, say that you wish to deal with any such matters by mail and terminate the call. It does not matter if an employee turns up at your home and hands you a letter or puts it through your mailbox. The letter is not for you or even addressed to you. It is addressed to the straw man, so it can be mailed back the same as any other letter. If you wish, you can take a more forceful, direct stance as demonstrated here by a letter issued by Christopher Lees when dealing with the fixed penalty notice charge. Dear Sirs, which is actually a title, just to be mindful. Please read the following notice thoroughly and carefully before responding. It is a notice. It informs you. It means what it says. The reason why you need to read it carefully is simple. I am offering conditional agreement. It removes controversy and means that you no longer have an ultimate recourse to a court of law in this matter, because there is no controversy upon which it could adjudicate. You always have the option of dragging these conditions into a court of law, only to be told that they are indeed lawful. That is, of course, always your prerogative should you decide to waste your time. For this reason, it is important that you consider and respond to the offer in substance. The nearest official form will not suffice, and consequently is likely to be ignored by myself without any dishonor on my part. On the other hand, there is a time limit on the agreement being offered. It is reasonable, and if it runs out, then you and all associated parties are in default, removing any and all lawful excuse on your part for proceeding in this matter. For these reasons, it is recommended that you carefully consider this notice and respond in substance, which means actually addressing the points raised herein. You have apparently made allegations of criminal conduct against me. You have apparently made demands upon me. I do not understand those apparent demands, and therefore cannot lawfully fulfill them. I seek clarification of your document so that I may act according to the law and maintain my entire body of inalienable natural rights. Gotta go. Got some phone call.